we'll seek things outside of ourselves if we don't feel that peace. Well, there's a part of me that's like, what if that inner harmony is created and you're still curious or you still want to like explore and have fun being a human? Whether it's through like different sexual substances or psychedelics or breath work or like, different states of consciousness to explore. But and I also love that you mentioned like self pleasure. And for me, I've had some powerful, like different rituals. Like I explored with a pleasure mapping one take, and I think meeting myself with a certain level or degree of reverence
Mm.
and sacredness too. And being curious about like, okay, what types of touch do I like, or what temperatures do I like different objects? As far as like, a feather or like an ice cube or some kind of like metal chain thing. And then just being like real curious and like, how would I want a lover to touch me? Well, I'm going to meet myself with that same level of like care, tender love and care. Um, so I love like kind of that as a practice too. And incorporating like the tools that you mentioned too, like breathing, sounding, moving. I just found it was really um not only pleasurable, but also um getting to know my body, getting to know my body in a way that felt very deep and intimate too.
Mm.
I mean, it's like, how do I expect someone else to do certain things if I am not as aware of different zones or aspects or things that I like or are pleasurable? Um, yeah. And then yeah, it's interesting. There's been times where like where I meet people, I'm like, what is this showing me about myself too? And like being curious. I think though a lot of times we want to like define or assign things so that we'll feel more safe, whether it's like conscious or unconscious, or try to put people in boxes, although I don't know if anyone really can live in just one box or identity. I feel like they mesh and colors bleed outside the lines and that sort of thing. And I think too, like I love what you said about like, yeah, looking for our commonality, like recognizing like we're all humans here, like doing this human thing on earth. So how can we collectively treat one another better and treat our planet better? So we can create a more harmonious environment.
Hmm.
And I know before we were able to like hop on recording, we were talking about like transformation and how, and you can speak to this too, how you feel about like we're kind of in the fourth quarter. Like, we came here, I think, to not only witness, but to contribute into the evolution to the Aquarian age, the greatest show on earth. Like, are we going to do it? Um, I believe that, and then there's also a piece of me, like there's so much chaos going on. And there's a little quote, I think, by Deepak Chopra that provides me a sense of comfort in these chaotic days is that all great change is preceded by chaos.
Mm.
Um, and then I feel like the more that we can create our inner harmony environment, that's going to be reflected too.
Mhm. Yeah. Amen. I mean, whether we choose it or not, right? Like, let's say you choose to detox because you want to get healthier because something's off. Often it gets worse. The symptoms get worse.
Like
You
a
feel
purge.
not so good. And then once that moves, then you slowly start to build up. If you don't do it consciously, then you get sick. You get a high fever and then you throw up and then it goes higher for a while until it moves and then you start to get better. Hopefully, it's not something serious.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely that pattern and we're definitely in those times right now. I do feel like if we go to soul, which is part of this work, um, our souls know everything, I believe, right? They're eternal. And so the time of things isn't as finite as how we see it here, where we have such a limited time. And so I still believe that it still knows what needs to happen. So we're in a time, I believe, that everything we've done wrong every way we haven't stood up for the planet, for the children, for the women, for the animals, for nature, for life, is catching up to us.
Mm.
And, there's maybe these forces who benefited or profited or maintained their power doing those things. And they're doubling down. They're
Mm.
like, we don't want to go. This has been working for us. Uh, but it's not working for most of us.
Mhm.
And, most people are suffering, whether they know it because they're in the middle of a genocide or, you know, because they're depressed. I mean, here in America, there's so much going on. I don't know how much political we want to get about it.
You go ahead.
I mean, there's what I keep seeing. We are going into the Aquarian age, but before we go into it, we're like facing every way that we're separate. And
Mm.
things are getting even more polarized, more separate, black and white, Mexican, American, uh, you know, Palestinian, Israeli, right? Like there's this depolarization, like of someone's wrong, someone's not, doesn't belong here. Be afraid of that person. And it's funny because it's not funny, it's fucked up actually,
Mhm.
but it's ironic because we are moving into the healed state of this next age is the age of Aquarius, where we're all one, where we're working for the collective rather than for the individual.
Mhm.
And right now, individuality is at its highest. It's this kind of narcissistic.
Mhm.
I know the way. We're gonna take power the way we want to take it. We don't care what you have to say. Like this kind of really staunch grabbing onto power and trying to shut down any movement of the collective humanity
Mhm.
standing up for truth, which for me is love and unity and peace and like fairness and
Mhm.
justice. Um, and so we're like in a deep, you know,
Detox?
detox.
Yeah.
We're in a deep detox. And, I'm here for the people, which I
Mhm.
believe you are. I'm here for love, which I believe is the only reason we got here. Right? To me, at the core of this work, I mean, we talk about sex. And to me, sex, the act of sex is this act of coming into union.
Mhm.
But to me, what union is love, right?
Mhm.
At its core, it's like my body's having sex all the time. By that, I mean, every cell in my body is really getting down with each other and in that
Mhm.
deep state of
Mhm.
union.
Mhm.
Everything here is in this kind of state of sex or union. All of my cells, all of my organs, this unit that is the body internally is doing a dance, a love
Mhm.
dance, I
Mhm.
would call it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and so our parents, whether they were in love or not, the act is a loving act. It's
Mhm.
an act of union.
Mhm.
We were born from love. Um, we stayed alive because of love. Because a baby cannot exist if it's not in a loving uh, connection with the mother the
Mhm.
first several months. Um, and when we die, we go back to love, so to speak. But like it's the thing that drives us. We go for sex as a human. Often it's for love, for connection, for like wanting to be with another and be seen and being
Mhm.
held. And so it's like it's the driving force of everything we do. And so for me, it feels like that's the end of the game is
Mhm.
us getting there.
I believe that, and I kind of lean on, and I don't know if this is from some of the A Course in Miracles, or I read it in Marianne Williamson's Return to Love.
Mm.
If you look at everything as either love or fear, then all fear is a call for more love. And so there's like a massive call for love right now, like whatever ideology you subscribe to, and I feel like people are easier to control in a fear-based state. Or being able to manipulate and told to buy this or support this, especially if there's a clingy, like clinging on to something known. And that to me, there's like a big surge and maybe trying to protect like certain, ego deaths or the way things were, or the way, because sometimes, it's kind of like the abusive relationship thing, or a chaotic environment. It's our home, um, even if it's like a chaotic one, right? It feels familiar. It feels probably comfortable, or even more safe, quote unquote, than something that is more peaceful, because we haven't experienced that and that's more unknown. So I do like looking at things through the lens of, okay, there's a huge amount of call for love right now, but that doesn't mean that I just like sit in my room and meditate and tune out, right? It's like, how do I contribute and move from a place of love? And I love the quote, like, I love that the intention and quote or motto, whatever you want to call it, of moving from love and not for it, or not in like that kind of, even though we need it, but not in like that kind of grabby, exhausted kind of way. Do you know what I mean? Um,
Addicted,
but
codependent way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, but like moving from love or acting with love. And it's not always, the easiest thing, right? Even sometimes like I catch myself in traffic. I'm like, go with love and a swift kick. No. Um, I mean, that's like a super minute example. Um, but yeah, like how can we be more loving to one another, or and loving to ourselves? The love that we so seek and desire and crave, like how can we communicate that to ourselves more? Communicate, whether that's, I don't know, like I just noticed the other day, I just had came off of this retreat, and I was like looking in the mirror, and like I've had different like body dysmorphia things in the past. And this time I was just communicating with to myself and like with my body in a more compassionate and loving way, and like a, yeah, girl. And so I've noticed a little bit of shift within that to myself, but communicating it to me through touch, words, visioning. I'm also like holding a high vision at the same time for myself, for the collective, of more harmony. Um, because there is an element too, and like if we're only repeating the same words, I believe, or the same words, actions, beliefs, then do we create the same thing that we've been creating for however, long, if we don't shift our vision or hold that a little bit more, or more intently or strongly? I think it's powerful to hold the vision too, to create the world that we desire.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working with an archetype as a thing
Oh,
to
cool.
hold a vision. And so the archetype I've been working, I'd say for the last couple years, and really over the last year, it got more defined. But the definition of it at this moment is, I am the Dragon King of love and angels.
Mm.
And so at first it was just the Dragon King, but it didn't, something was missing. And what it was is, what does it stand for? Like at its core, the Dragon King of love and angels. Like I stand for love and angels.
Mhm.
Um, and that comes from this core understanding that I've gotten in life, which is that I deeply know in my heart that every human is born as an angel,
Mm.
and I've known it, let's say philosophically, for a while. And then about a year and a half ago, I was blessed with bringing a baby into the world,
Mm.
supporting my partner to have a
Mhm.
child, like actually birthing the baby. I became a mid husband. Um, and we raised the child for some time together, about 15 months. But especially in the beginning, everything I knew was confirmed. Because I
Mm.
held this like precious, beautiful creature, and I could feel its goodness,
Mm.
and it's so good. It's such an angel that it brings the angel in me.
Mm.
And I see it whenever anybody meets a baby, whether it's a puppy or an actual human baby, like there's this like extra sweetness, this extra like care that
Mm.
that just no one taught you to be that way. It just comes out. And so to me, it proves that it's already in there. You can't make someone be something they're not,
Mhm.
you know? And so if a child is so pure and innocent when they're born, where does it go? you know for me, it's this fear that you were talking about from the A Course in Miracles. And so for me, the Dragon King of love and angels is that I feel that my purpose on this planet is to activate that angel in
Mm,
humanity's hearts,
mm,
or reactivate it, or, bring that fire of love to burn away the fear that is maybe, covering or
mhm,
uh, somehow influencing that angel to not be fully there. Because I know that when that angel's activated in a person's heart, that original love that they came from, they know exactly what to do.
mm,
They know how to act. They know how to act in someone's house. They know what
mhm,
to do with something because it just comes through. It's like when you love someone because that energy of love is active, no one has to tell you how to respect them.
mm,
No one has to tell you what's a loving act.
mm,
It just comes through.
mhm,
You don't need a book. It's already in you. And so for me, the more we can get to that original love and do the healing work, go to the retreats, work with the coaches or the shamans or the
mhm,
healers, um, till I come back to that, to know that that's where we're going, uh, the better we're at. But like everything you said, I think it comes back to that. It's always in me, right? Like
mhm.
some people, I like this, I don't know who said it, but they said the kid was like, I'm angry. And then it's kind of saying, you're making me angry,
Oh,
right? And it's like, I can't make you angry. You have anger and it's coming out because I'm here. Um, if it wasn't there, I couldn't make you angry,
mm,
right?
mhm,
And so more of this self ownership that like whatever's in here, no one can put it in there or take it out, right?
mhm,
So to speak. That it's an inside job, right? Like it's this inner garden, this inner realm. And so when we do the practices, when we come into that place and we say the loving words and we plant the loving seeds of this higher standard or higher vision or uh, elevated self of who we see ourselves or who we want to be or what we care about, and we feed that, then that's what will grow.
mhm.
If I feed like self-doubt and
Yeah.
anger and
Mm,
fear and separation in my inner garden, that's what I want to see. And that's what's going to come.
mhm. What then practices do you recommend for like getting those seeds planted for someone that is doesn't have any like practices or going on, or maybe are pointing that finger, even though those three are always like you made me so mad. And I even think that anger, like I've felt anger, yes, I've had a rage scream and kickbox and punched and all those things, but at the same time, I feel like that anger is kind of like a top level emotion maybe in some ways. I think it's underneath it is like a fear of something.
Mm.
um but yeah, I was curious if you have any like suggestions or tools or practices that you'd like to offer for that to get started, like if you're going to start with just one or two.
I mean, what you said, you started it off well.
I did.
What I heard is, to make it short, is
Mhm.
emotional release tools
Mhm, mhm.
is one first step.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like I have a lot of shit in there,
Mm,
I'm angry, I'm depressed, I have a lot of heavy emotions,
mhm,
a personal practice could be emotional release tools,
mm.
like kicking the pillow,
Yeah, yeah,
doing it in a way that you don't
yeah.
hurt yourself.
Mhm,
You can look online for emotional release tools
mhm,
and see how to do them correctly. But basically, it's using the energy of the body, breath, sound, and movement to move that junk,
mhm,
move the shit out,
mhm,
right? Once we move the shit out, then like you were saying, that could be maybe a superficial thing, and maybe underneath that there's the fear
mhm,
or the pain or the grief or the sadness. Um, and then having a process of feeling it, like
mhm,
giving it voice. Like, so, you know, how do you feel?
mhm,
Asking yourself, how do I actually feel? Now that I've moved this energy, like what's underneath? How do I feel? And then like
mhm,
let that feeling come through. I feel
mhm,
mad. I feel sad. I feel angry. And then maybe asking yourself a question like, what do I need?
mm,
What did I need? And
mm,
then, and then hearing, I needed to be loved. I needed to be listened to. I needed
mhm,
to be respected. And so, giving voice to the thing underneath is a good practice. And then when we clear that, it's what do you want?
mm.
Right? what do you want to feel? I want to feel loved. So what can I do to feel loved? Well, stop fucking going to sleep so late. Give me more water. And then so actually listen to what it has and how can you give that to yourself. And then internally creating mantras or creating affirmation statements. So if everything was good, if I could be my best self and it already happened, what is the present? What is that? And say it in the present tense. So I am powerful. I am free. I am prosperous. I love and I trust myself, right? Something that really speaks to who I want to be. If I do all the retreats and I do all the things, the end result, own it in the present tense in I am statement. And so like having one of those is a good thing to have that you say to yourself, right? And so there's levels to that. There's just saying it because you wrote it. Then there's saying it because you want to believe it. And then they're saying it as if you believe it with the full emotionality. Like, I am powerful. I am strong. I am loving, right? Like really feel it vibrate through your whole body in truth. And the more we can start to vibrate the thing that we want, the more it becomes the truth. So affirmation statements is a good one. Positive, loving actions for ourselves are good ones. And, again, we could come to the breath. Yeah. How can I breathe these things in? Breathe that love. Feel the love, breathe it in, feel it come